Good afternoon, Vincent. How are you, sir? Are you well?
Very well, thank you.
So we're here to talk about yourself and your fascinations and your passions and career, if that's all right.
How long
Not
have
too
we got?
much. Yeah, I'll do that all in 10 minutes. So I'll start off. Could you tell us a bit about your professional life and background?
Yeah, I qualified as a solicitor and University in Cardiff and then College of Law Chester, so pretty local.
Yeah.
And then practiced in offices in Wrexham and Chester, primarily Wrexham, Allington Hughes, for just short of 30 years.
Oh, wow.
And towards the end of that, I took up a role part-time. I was appointed part-time as a judge in the Employment Tribunal. And then in 2009, I decided to have a go at a salaried role fully. I left the firm with a heavy heart because I was very happy there, but left there, and I've been a judge ever since. I suppose I'm coming to the end now, the next few years. But,
Can you tell us a bit more about these, your work with the Employment Tribunal, what that entails? And
I got in, yes, it's about workplace justice. So, and that I obviously cuts both ways. So everything I say about unfairness at work, it can be the employee who feels they've been bullied, but it could be the manager who's then accused of racism or ableism or whatever. It could be somebody trying to run the business, doing the best they can, and the employer finding it very hard to do, and a claim against them is the worst thing they want. But for employees, there is protection against discrimination, whistleblowing, unfair dismissal, a number of various types of claims. So I got involved because it just involved justice, really. It was part of my job in the solicitor's firm. I did lots of different types of law, and gradually over the years specialised in that. And it came about in the early 1980s, sounds like ancient history. But my principal, the senior partner at the time, came in with a letter. It was about sexual harassment. And at that time, nobody knew whether to call it harassment. It was an American thing, never heard of. You know about this, you're out of university, find out. And it's interested me. So from there on, I just built up an experience in it.
That interest in justice and fairness and people's voices, I suppose, which is a conversation that we had before the cameras started rolling, is that kind of a pathway that led you to become interested in TCC, or is this totally unrelated?
No, it's very related, really, because I think probably my principal interest is in people. I just love people, and I'm optimistic about people. So I always think people's good experiences in life and bad experiences, it's generally about the people. It might be about communication with them or poor communication. And I just like to, it sounds a bit pompous now, I like to get the best out of it, but I want people to have a voice. And that's what I wanted to do as a solicitor. And my colleagues were all doing as advocates, speaking for people, helping them to voice their concerns, their worries. And if they've done something wrong, maybe to explain how and why they got into that situation. Not always trying to excuse them, but just give them an opportunity to explain themselves. And if they've not done something wrong, but they've been accused of doing something wrong, to give them the voice to explain their defence to the allegation, whatever it was. And I did a bit of work in the criminal courts, not a great deal, not for very long, because my advocacy really went into employment. And we made a point of acting for both employers and employees, doing legal aid work and privately funded work, so that we got a balance in the firm. And that's the kind of balance now that's essential to me as a judge, being able to try and see things from both sides. And that's what I like to do in life. And so with TCC, it's speaking on issues that involve the community. And I know I don't do enough, and maybe, hopefully, there'll be an opportunity to do a lot more. But a lot of people need someone to speak for them. Or they don't. They want to speak themselves, but they just need a bit of guidance how to do it. You don't want to take someone's voice from them. You want to amplify it. So it's either to help them express it or express it for them if that's what they want, but not to speak over people. And I'd like to be able to do that through TCC.
I think the core principle of TCC was founded on a really simple premise. It was telling me a story. It's always been about people's stories and community stories. And
that's funny because many, many years ago, the Welsh Regional Employment Judge used to say, it's all very complicated law, but just tell me your story. That's what he'd say to the parties in the tribunal. And it could be, as I say, either side of the table, the manager or the person who's been managed. who feels they have a claim. Just tell me your story, I'll sort out the complicated bits.
Yeah, make it simple. I know you've done some work with St Mary's group in Wrexham's, TCC member group, and I myself have worked with the youth group and the Calvary group there quite a bit this year. Can you tell us more about that relationship?
Yeah, well, my parents are Catholic and I was brought up a Catholic. I still attend Mass on a regular basis and involved in the parish council. The first involvement, actually, this whole building brings back a lot of memories because my parents were involved with any number of organisations that have run from here. And I don't know if you even know of Owen Hardwick, but he was a priest in the diocese. He was very involved in CND, internationally involved in peace campaigning and social issues, as were the nuns who were then here when it used to be a convent, or next door used to be a convent, and CAFOD, the Overseas Development Agency. So when I was young, free and single, I think my parents encouraged me to get involved in TCC. The only involvement was the hustings before general elections. I used to go to those and enjoy those. I didn't really get any further involved. I know one of the trustees very well, whose father, who's the vicar, was very involved. So I heard from Melissa Griffiths.
Yeah.
And then my wife was actively involved through another parish where she was told a lot about it. And so I was it was always there.
Yeah.
I just needed to do something active, that was all. I held back too long, and now I may have left it too late, but it's never too late.
It's never too late, no. What action or moment in your career or engagement with St Mary's or other groups would you say that you're most proud of?
Oh,
it's a tough one, that.
Yeah, I don't do pride. Oh, well, I do, but I try not to. Most proud of? Gosh. I can... it's not bragging now, because it's not really my story, but I do remember acting as advocate for somebody who was a victim of sexual abuse at home by father and brother, and it was a horrendous case. And she was then passed various care facilities, not always at homes, but fostered, etc. Anyway, she wasn't believed whenever she was subsequently abused by others in public and sexually assaulted. But whenever she reported it to the police or authorities, nobody believed a word she said. And I acted as her advocate, trying to get her some criminal injuries compensation. And I think the best moment was when the judge in that came back and said to her, not to me, to her, "We believe you."
Right.
And I just thought that I felt I made a difference. Yeah. But it was her story, it wasn't my story, but that's what an advocate does. All I was doing is enabling her to tell it in a way that was credible. And she had suffered a lot, so that meant a lot to her.
That feeling of powerlessness or voicelessness is terrible.
And she was vulnerable. She had numerous disabilities. She wasn't really able to voice in a way that people would be bothered listening, and that was so hurtful.
Yeah. So
she was more hurt. Every experience was more hurtful and loading on the pain.
Yeah.
But she cried, and I think everyone in the room cried.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I won't grill you for too much longer, but another potentially difficult final question. What issue or issues do you see as being most prevalent or important to tackle in the world? And when I say in the world, it could mean like the local community here as a starting point.
It probably all boils down to respect.
Right.
Respect for individuals. Groups can gain power and can push it around a bit, and then overlook the needs of an individual who feels powerless. So, I mean, that respect can be in helping somebody with a housing issue, leaks in the roof, paying the rent, budgeting. Or it could be a nation that's invaded. It could be somebody who's being starved as a weapon of political pressure. It could be aerial bombing. You can do whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a lack of respect for the individual. So I think everything that I've learned of TCC does a massively impressive work advocating for groups, promoting issues, is at its heart is respect for the individual. And I think that gets overlooked too much. So whether you're looking at a very small scale, whether you're looking in your own house and you help with the washing up, or whether you're on a march to demonstrate against nuclear armaments or whatever your demonstration is, it's respecting the people who could be victims, but they don't want to be called victims. Also. It's just respecting people for being people. That's what matters.
I can't think of a better way to end it. Thank you for your time today.
Not at all. Thank you, Stephen. Thanks.